Codependency is a worldwide condition, and a lot of people are undergoing a lot of psychological and physical health issues being trapped in such conditions willingly. Yes, you heard it right. They stay in such connections willingly. Today, I'm going to run you through a checklist of how you know that you could be in a codependent connection or somebody you know is in a codependent connection. Codependents are people pleasers, which is why they are not able to say a no, and they want to be called a good person. And who is a good person? A good person is somebody who always says yes to everything at any point of time. So they indulge in people pleasing, pedestal worshipping other people, looking at them like divine people or gods. They give more and they receive less. They have a problem with receiving compliments or gifts, but they don't mind giving. They focus more on others than on themselves, so there is a lot of self sabotage, there's a lot of neglect on themselves. They over function by taking on more than they can do only because they are capable of doing it. They do not know when and when to stop. So they might take on 10 projects instead of 2, knowing very well that they may not be able to complete it. So they struggle and complete it, but reach a burnout, which causes a resentment and bitterness. They're they have no boundaries, so you can call them anytime, you can do anything, you can take their money. So basically they are absolutely no boundaries. Again, it depends on values. Everybody's values are not the same, but this is a general discussion. Codependents are people who are always lonely, seeking for companionship, which is why they are the primary targets of narcissists. Because narcissists are looking for people whom they can manipulate under the guise of protecting and rescuing them. So they are more prone to fall into the hands of a narcissist because of the perpetual loneliness. The need to be called a good person is something which is highly prevalent, so they will go to any lengths to be called a good person. They will overfunction, overdo, they'll give you money, they'll take care of, they'll get you a job, they'll do anything to be called a good person. Self neglect, putting other people ahead of you, putting yourself last on the list, and your life full of sacrifices is what a codependent's life. They're not able to let go of people and hang on to people for their life, and they will do anything to make them stay. That is what makes it a codependent connection, like not letting the other person leave and not choosing to leave. Have you seen water? Water takes the shape of any container it is poured into. So a very highly codependent person is one who doesn't have who's got a very weak sense of self. So they would take on the personality of anybody they come into contact with, which is quite dangerous in the long run because they have a very low sense of self. They don't know their self worth. They do not know their capabilities. They underplay because of the low self esteem, because of the conditioning they have received in their childhood. So who is a codependent? A codependent is somebody who's operating from the blueprint given to them from their parents, grandparents, or their primary caregivers, or somebody in the school, college, can be a friend, or any influential person. So they are operating from the blueprint which is not their own but somebody else's blueprint. So they never get to be an authentic self. They're all either using their ideal self, which is also a false self because they are not what they try to show, always kind, always strong, always smiling, helpful, which is why they end up getting depressed and with anxiety and anger issues too, because they cannot say no. There is also fear of losing the connection. There is trauma bonding. There is double bind, like the person, the source can be the person can be a source of fear and attachment. You want to go to them, but you also run away from them. You might want your father, you might love him, but you're also scared of him. You might love your boyfriend, but you're also scared of him. So double bind is what we see. Trauma bonding is like breakups and passionate reconciliations, they intensify the trauma bonding. So trauma bonding is like knowing it is not good for you, but because of the attachment which is very deep and not wanting to live alone, you continue in that connection for as long as you can keep it. And not standing up for yourself, letting people manipulate you, choosing situations which can also endanger you, being very blank, not even smiling or being yourself, always available, always doing, and somebody who is passive aggressive but not assertive. They don't have boundaries, and there are people who intend good but they fall into the wrong hands, aka narcissists, and end up with a lot more trauma than what their childhood presented them with. So if you are a codependent, you would be having these traits. So please see somebody for this, see a therapist, read books, do anything, take a lot of help and come out of it. It takes time, but it is definitely worthwhile, because codependency is something which will not let you live to your fullest. And I think everybody should be able to live to the best of their ability. I'll come back again with the next video of how codependency manifests in relationships, both during childhood and later on in romantic relationships and at work. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share my channel, because that will help me deliver the content to a large number of people, because this is not just my profession, it is also my vision and my passion.